And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. I'm Gary Kaltbaum, your host. Thanks for being with us today. Glad you're here, ladies and gentlemen. Happy that you are listening. It is the 13th of July, 2026. Here in stormy, thunder and lightning, raining Central Florida, as it kind of almost every afternoon does. And as always, serious talk on everything that affects you. We'll do the markets, the economy, your job, your industry, oil prices, the war that continues, and all that crap. And whatever else comes to mind. And we have some very important words on areas of the market we have been warning you about. Today, we will be to the point and we'll be quite specific. And if you don't get this radio show in your city, we will post it at GaryK.com. We'll also post it on our X feed. If you don't follow us on X, you should. If you'd like to email us, just be nice and respectful. We'll be nice and respectful back, unless you like terrorists and you're a racist and all that other crap. And also, we'll post it at the YouTube channel of BizTV. All right. First things first. Senator Lindsey Graham passes away at 71 years old. Heart disease, which led to, for lack of a better word, a tear in the heart attack, and passed away at the age of 71. A very influential senator. I'm not going to get into the back and forth. What I just want to talk about, what happened to people? I hope you don't mind 2 minutes of this. What happened to people? Social media has a ton of people happy that he's dead. Happy that he's dead. I don't know how people look themselves in the mirror. When Trump did it to Robert Mueller, I don't know how Trump looked himself into the mirror. He was happy that Robert Mueller dead. And now Lindsey Graham, the other side, is now happy that he's dead. People wishing death upon people. I don't even know what to say. So we're just going to leave it at that. It's just... And we know there's outliers out there, but man, a lot of people on internet. And you know, you would think, they would think, boy, I don't know if I want to celebrate somebody's death because people will think worse of me. No, they're doing it and thinking this is great. I'm showing what I am and what I'm against. I want him dead. We move on. One of my favorite scenes in movies is in Jurassic Park when they land in the helicopter and they go off on the Jeep, and all of a sudden Sam Neill gets out, pulls off his glasses, and his eyes are wide open. And then he goes to Laura Dern and turns her head, and they see the dinosaurs. It's one of my favorite scenes in movies. He passed away. And you know what I realize? How much time has passed. How much time has passed. Because he was 78. Jurassic Park year was 93. 33 years ago. Time is really moving, kids. I think I'm going to start waking up at 5 a.m. in the morning now to have more time during the day. It's going too fast. Isn't it? We move on. Nothing good out of the Middle East. I guess we put on a blockade after... Look, I don't trust a word out of this president's mouth, so I don't know what's going on except to say Iran shot up ships. We retaliated. Now we're blockading. And oil prices, as I speak, are up $6.50 today. $6.50 to $7. And that obviously is not a good thing. Just fundamentally is bad news because it also moves yields up. We're at 4.6 now, up 0.40 today. So I'm just letting you know, fundamentally, no good news on that front right now. And I don't know what the outcome's going to be. I'm hoping cooler heads prevail. As I said from day one, remember, I'm the one who said it. And I'll say it again. You're not dealing with normal players with Iran. They're terrorists. They're murderers. And as I said to you, unfortunately, our government completely miscalculated who they were dealing with. Oh, yeah, we cut a deal. And what did I come on the radio show and say? No, they didn't. Oh, we cut a deal. No. They agreed to a deal. No. So I don't know where this ends up. All I can do is report to you. Oil prices up $6.50 to $7 today, and that's no fun. Next, SpaceX. So we basically said to you a few things recently since it came out. Number one, we have no edge. It's not been public long enough. It hasn't been trading long enough. We don't have an edge on it. So we're just going to back off and see how it plays out, see how it trades. But just so you know, for the last couple of years, they've been opening up things too hot, touting them too hotly, and they've all been crumbling. And as you know, we have highlighted a bunch of initial public offerings in the last year to 2 years that are down 50, 60, 70, 80% since their big highs. And guess what they did with SpaceX? It was $225, I believe, the second day. Right now, as I speak, it's $139, down another $6 today. We warned you. Valuations matter. We know what everybody's saying about what's the shape of things to come. They're going to have great, fabulous growth. Terrific. But we're dealing in real time here. And I'm sorry, a $2 trillion market cap with $18 billion in revenues and loses a ton of money? Sorry, can't help you. But what was the other thing we told you? They opened it up at $150. It was a $135 IPO, initial public offering. We simply stated if it breaks the $150, that would mean everybody in the aftermarket, once it traded, is losing money, and that could invite selling. And it did. So it's 139 and change as I speak. The market's closing in about 10 minutes. We still have no edge. The only thought we had, if it holds 150, that would be good news, but it broke it like hot knife through butter. I got my statement right. So that's the next part of the equation. And then we also warned you about all the other space stocks that all the pundits were telling you got to own. And what are we saying to you? Just be careful. We're not going to tell you not to own them. We'll just be careful because a bunch of these space stocks that they keep touting hardly have any sales or lose a bunch of money. They've crumbled. 50% drops is the norm in the last 4, 5, 6 weeks. All the favorite names, 50% drops. Hope you listened. We'll stay on it, but as of now, nothing but selling. Rough day today for SpaceX and other space stocks, and by sympathy, Tesla's down about $14 today also. Elon Musk. So that's a little bit of not so great news to start off the show. And as you know, we're just going to tell it like it is. Now, the other part of the equation is what we've been warning you about when it comes to the artificial intelligence and the semiconductors. So we're going to do that again up next on Investor's Edge. So, we have been doing this little exercise with you on the semiconductors and artificial intelligence names that have been highly touted to you and continuously told, don't worry. Well, we say worry. What we've been doing on this show with you with those areas is simply coming on here and saying, imagine if there was only 100 stocks in the market, a little example we've always done. And imagine if, let's assume we know what an uptrend and a downtrend is. We know what a bull and a bear market is. And let's say all 100 of those stocks are in a bull market and an uptrend. Well, that means the market's in an uptrend. And let's say they're all equal weighted also. And then what happens if we're able to come on the radio show and say, hey, just let you know that of that 100 that were in uptrends, 20 of them now have topped out or in downtrends. Well, that means a little bit of headwinds, and you're going to have to avoid those 20, and it's of note. And then what happens if another 20 and another 20 and another 20 and another 20? Well, that means things are changing, and we have to recognize it. And as we've always said to you, markets, when they top, when they bottom, it doesn't happen usually in an instant. It happens over time, little by little, piece by piece, inch by inch, stock by stock. And what have we been doing with you on the semiconductors and artificial intelligence? Well, we've been letting you know that more and more stocks in that sphere, assuming we know what we're talking about on uptrends and downtrends, had topped out and were heading south, breaking support levels and the all-important 50-day moving average. And then we state to you, and if more names happen to the downside and break, that'll weaken things even more, and that's the process of going from a bullish phase to a bearish phase of unknown price and time. And what typically happens is the specs, the speculative names, which were brought up because of the group strength, well, they've crashed. You have some semiconductor stocks that have crashed. SOLS has gone from 91 to 60 in 5 days. That's a crash, right? Would you say that's a crash? I think so. That's one example. Just one. ACLS 194 to 136. That's a crash, right? MPWR has gone from 1714 to 1289. And by the way, all these have broken the 50-day moving average, some by far. How about PLAB 56 to 28? Oh, that's 50% almost. I'm rounding off. And we always say to you, well, the issue is we do not know how far and how long, but as long as these things continue to happen, well, we're just letting you know today the semiconductor index is down another 600 plus as I speak, with 3 minutes left in the market. Artificial intelligence stocks, again, hit hard. SanDisk, the leading name, is down $250. Micron is down 40. Seagate is down 51. Western Digital is down 27. GE Vernova is down $46. ASML down 68. They report this week. Applied Materials down 27. Lam Research down 20. Symbol A Lab is down 51. Advanced Micro Devices is down 23. I can go on, but I've made my point. The stronger names are coming in. As I speak, the semiconductor index is now right at the 50-day moving average again, where, by the way, it held 3 days ago and gapped up the next day. You know what the problem is now? There's even fewer stocks now in participation. And when there's fewer stocks in participation, it's tougher to get things going again. By the way, we say this knowing, absolutely knowing, that it's earnings season. But we're letting you know they worsened things again today. Remember that SK Hynix that just came public? It was a South Korea, SK stands for South Korea, came public on the Nasdaq. It was already trading in South Korea. What did we tell you on that one? Careful, careful. We'll see. We have no edge. Well, they brought that out. It was 177 on Friday, closed at 168. It's 152 and change today, down almost $16. Why? It's an artificial intelligence semiconductor play. So we're letting you know that that area worsened. Stocks that broke down a couple of weeks ago, farther down in their bearish trend. And please don't argue. Now you're going to hear from the techies and the pundits, everything's fine, don't worry, they're now cheap. We're letting you know the die has been cast right now, and just wait till we say, maybe the coast is clear. And it'll be a maybe. And we say that, why? A lot of stocks down 30, 40, 50%. And they could go down 50, 60, 70%. What, you don't think so? So we're just letting you know that area is in more trouble today as the market closes today. And what it did also, and we said this to you several times recently, the semiconductors and artificial intelligence now have a bigger influence on the Nasdaq and Nasdaq 100, a lot more than they have in the past. Nasdaq down 408 today, the Nasdaq 100 down 561. The semiconductors closed down 619 today. A very rough day. And I can just labor through all the moves today, like LITE down 33. Sienna down 15. Coherent down 17. Fix down 25. That's a construction name. AMD down 23. Remember Marvell? The CEO of Nvidia said it's going to be $1 trillion company. Well, not so quick. Marvell just dropped from 330 to 217 in 3 weeks. Careful. Up next, what's working? But we're not done yet. I'm Gary. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. Let me finish off that area. And I must tell you, on Friday, Nvidia had this really nice move, down $7.50 today. And again, the group. At the close, by the way, SpaceX finished under $139, down $6.70. Tesla down $13.50. I'm just looking around, just a rough day. You know what wasn't so bad was the Dow was down 138. That's nothing. In fact, the Dow was only down today 0.3%, while the Nasdaq 100 was down 1.9%. Excuse me, the Dow was only down, about 0.25%. And why would the Dow hold up better? Because that's how it works. When markets tend to de-risk, they go to where there's less risk, and typically that'll be your lower beta. And what that means is beta is just how much a stock trades versus the market. A high beta name would be a high flying thingamabob. A lower beta would be like a Coca-Cola. So what does the market do? Well, first off, you have Chevron in the Dow. Oil stocks are up today. That helped. But you bounced. Let me tell you what bounced today. Software. Software has been the anti-semiconductor. So semiconductors have a bad day. Software typically has a decent day. Even the worst software stocks are up nicely today. And in the Dow, Salesforce.com almost up 8 and Microsoft up almost 6. So between those two, let's use 14 times 90 Dow points. So that helped. And also, believe it or not, we keep saying Apple's like a defensive tech. That was up 8 early, finished up 2. You do have some things in the Dow that are strong. United Health, that group, managed care, that was so bad for so long. That was up another 4 and change today. Visa, up almost $9. Been stronger. Visa has been in a 16 to 17 month trading range now. While their numbers are pretty decent, has not broken out yet, but certainly is teasing it. MasterCard, not nearly as strong. Visa in the Dow. That was about 60 Dow points today. So it's defensive. Market's more defensive now. Strength today were oils. There's a few oil stocks at new yearly highs. The refiners, I believe I mentioned it to you, had another good day today. Symbols, MPC, PSX, VLO. We're not telling you to buy them. And the fact is, one tweet from the Prez can make things all better and oil drop. You had strength in insurance stocks on the defensive side. I must admit you had some strength in some restaurants. Had a decent day. Even very weak Domino's Pizza got a buy recommendation today. Yippee yay yay. Advanced declines not good. There were more new yearly lows than yearly highs in both the New York and the Nasdaq today, which is on the weird side. And banks were down a little bit, not much, but they all report. Let me repeat, I think I did this with you. Tomorrow morning is going to be Bank America, Citigroup, Goldman Sachs, and JP Morgan. Those two are in the Dow, and Wells Fargo. Wednesday before the open, BlackRock, Bank of New York Mellon, M&T Bank, Morgan Stanley, PNC Bank. Catching the drift? Thursday, State Street, Truist. I still don't know why they changed the name from SunTrust to Truist. U.S. Bancorp. So you got a lot of these big banks this week, and we'll see how the reaction is. They're the greatest bookies on earth, so I doubt their numbers are going to be bad. We'll see how the market decides on them. Other things reporting this week that I think are important. Wednesday before the open is ASML, very important semiconductor equipment company. Johnson & Johnson in the Dow, and Johnson & Johnson's been a strong Dow name. Elevance, ELV, which is in that managed care group, will be Wednesday before the open. JB Hunt in the transports, United Airlines, GE Aerospace, United Health, we just mentioned it, in the Dow's report. Thursday, Netflix, which has been such a poor stock. Taiwan Semiconductor, and Friday Travelers in the Dow. Strong insurance stock. So we're going, market's just more defensive now. Simple as that. And we just want you to be careful. Just in case. And what we mean by that is, it's already been a rough drop from the highs in the semis and the artificial intelligence stuff. It's already been a rough drop. You got that? what you're going to hear is don't worry. Everything's okay. And if you liked it at 200, you're going to love it at 150. Not if it goes to 120. They've had a good run. You know my worries. We've told you my worries about this whole AI thing. And it's not what I would call out of the realm my worries, and that is the spend. The numbers that announce that are supposed to be spent, I don't see how these companies are going to make any money. But what the hell do I know? The other thing is Oracle. New yearly low today. Hasn't rallied with the software stocks. And they're the one where I read to you about cash flow and debt. So there are things that are out there, and we'll see. All we know right now is it weakened again today. And by the way, if you want to know what I mean when I say Wall Street's going to tell you not to worry, no matter what happens, you remember I read off for you the SpaceX, right? Once the quiet period was over, the analysts can come out with their ratings. Buy, outperform, buy, out, overweight, outperform, buy, overweight, outperform, strong, buy, outperform, overweight. I have one neutral. One neutral, whatever that means, by the way. And why do they do that? Because a lot of them are the investment bankers, and they have to have buys on them. Little conflict. But I'd like to ask these analysts, how can they actually have a buy on a company with only $18 billion in revenues, loses billions, did a $25 billion bond deal also to get cash, and you have $2 trillion market cap. You're paying $2 trillion for a company with $18 billion in revenues. I would like to ask these analysts that question. And by the way, it would be a very valid question. And I am sure the company is going to grow big time. But we deal in real time in the markets. So just letting you know. My screens are a lot of red today, except oils, insurance, smattering of other things. And some restaurants actually had a good day. Brinker International, I believe that's Chili's, is at a new yearly high. That's pretty darn good. And again, to repeat, all the banks, most of the big banks are reporting this week and early next week. Stay tuned on that. Up next, this, that, and the other thing, and whatever else. This is the one only Investor's Edge. Dun-dun-dun. You know, I was just thinking about Lindsey Graham that yesterday he was scheduled to do Meet the Press. The day before, he was just arriving back from Ukraine, traveling, whatever, and we're told the president said that he had stated he was not feeling well in a phone call just hours before he passed away. And nobody knows what he meant by that, but just wow. Wow. We here really take our health seriously, and we do all these scans and stuff, the heart for the plaque and all that, the whole works. Because it's, 71. I hope my mom passed in her 90s, my father in his 90s. I'm told that means I have good genes. I don't know. We'll see. I don't drink. I hate the fact they put me on a thyroid pill called Synthroid. I'm on a cholesterol. My family had a history of cholesterol, so I'm on a cholesterol pill. I hate even taking any pills. What are we in July? I've had 4 drinks this year. 4 drinks. Last year I think I had 5. Yeah, maybe 5. And they're usually one of those spicy martini thingamabobs. I think I'm a big believer one of the most overrated parts of whatever is alcohol. And I don't know if you know this, but alcohol consumption is at a big time low. But I'm hearing weed. Well, if you ever go into Manhattan, it's one big giant bong hit. Any street you walk, it smells of weed in Manhattan. I love how they're making it more legal. Cigarettes bad, but weed good. Anyway, as I said, I don't know what's happening out there politically. People wishing others dead. And hey, it didn't start with the president, but the president did it with Mueller. And I believe who else? There was somebody else he did too. And that's I can never be friends with somebody like that. But I do like his golf courses. I do plan on playing his golf course next summer in Scotland. Because my son wants to play it. So, anyway. In other political news, I have a big problem with Mitch McConnell. I'm sorry, a picture is not good enough. You should have a video out. You work for us. You work for the people of your state, right? But of course, they don't. As we have told you here, they really don't give a crap about us. If you're going to run $2 trillion deficits a year, you don't give a crap about us. If you're insider trading, you don't give a crap about us. If your families are getting wealthy off of government while you're in government, you don't give a crap about us. Right? Right. Right. All right, back on point. I think the most important point of today's show, they worsened the artificial intelligence semiconductor pillar in the deck for $21 today, and all these other areas that are breaking the 50-day moving average, or a sand disk that is down $270 today, including an aftermarket where it's down $26. While they tell you don't worry, we believe in the market dictating. Just letting you know. What else do I want to convey to you? They're still kicking in the teeth all those frothy areas that we warned you about. Quantum computing, drones, rare earth, nuclear, that they told you, but we told you the opposite, because many of them have no sales, very little sales, or lose a ton. And our exact line was and still is, if nothing changes, they're all going to go back to where they came from, because that's how it works. Once the curtains come down and you go into a bearish phase, if you have no sales, your stock is going to get clonked, and that is exactly what's going on. This is inclusive of the president taking positions in no sales rare earth companies, which really is ridiculous. But hey, what do I know? We just read the tape. And today was a rough day for the semis and the AI. And until we say otherwise, well, very simply, you know where we stand. It worsened. And we ain't futzing around. Now the question's going to be, is it going to be weak enough to really take down the Nasdaq and Nasdaq 100 that are above the 50-day moving average? As we have stated, much bigger influence than they used to be because it's gotten so much bigger. Used to be 8 stocks ruled the roost. Not as much. And even today with the Nasdaq down 400, Nasdaq 100 down 561, Amazon was up. Microsoft was up 5. Apple was up. But very big losses otherwise. You have a great evening. Drive carefully. Hopefully better news tomorrow. When you get home, do like we do. Quite simple. Make sure you hug your family, hug your children. They will feel better. You will feel better. I promise. They will be well. Thanks for joining. Have a good night.